Happy New Year. We are a few days into 2026 and I would really love to share how I'm doing my goals a little bit differently this year. Last year was a little less than perfect and I thought it was time to shake things up, so let's get into it. Hi friends, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna. If you're new here for this video, grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab some water. We have all the beverages going on right now. How's our 2026 hydration going? Mine is like medium. It's not too bad. It's not too good either. If this is the first video of mine that you have seen, my name is Jenna. I am 30 years old. I am a wife. I am a mom to two sweet little baby boys, Henry and Lucas. They are 3 and 1 years old. So this year I will be a mom to 2 toddlers for the full year. I am really looking forward to it. And I am a work from home mom. I work remotely as a marketing strategist for a creative agency that is located in the Midwest. So I go over to Chicago/Indiana for a few times a year for some work trips, but for the most part, I am working from my office in this room in Northern Nevada. Today it is a very rainy day, very cozy day, and I am loving it. I do kind of struggle in the winter time, honestly, and Northern Nevada does get cold. We do for sure get snow. It isn't like Midwest cold or other parts of the US cold, but we for sure do get snow. We're in the thick of winter. I just took down all of our Christmas decorations yesterday, and I actually swapped them for a few winter decorations. I've been keeping my mantle above our fireplace themed for the time of year, which is kind of fun. I think that it might be a little bit difficult going into spring because I'm gonna need some Easter things to make sure that the mantle stays updated when the time comes, but it has been super fun. Before I get too far ahead of myself in this intro, let's talk about goals, and goals specifically for 2025 and then goals looking ahead at 2026, because I think that's where a lot of our mindset is, or maybe we just kind of recently moved out of setting some goals, and so maybe this is something for you too. Maybe you set a lot of goals or you're a very goal-oriented person. I'm there, I'm with you. I am super goal-oriented, very multi-passionate. I have a lot of things that I love to do and celebrate with those of us who are very goal-oriented like that. I think that it can be easy to fall into this trap of almost overreaching, overpromising, or keeping ourselves to an unrealistic high standard. I wanted to change things up this year because I was looking back at 2025 goals and I was very ambitious with them. I actually set 40 goals for 2025, and looking back at them, I did bring them top of mind in various times of the year. It wasn't like I wrote them down and then didn't look at them until 2026 or the end of 2025. I for sure did reference them throughout the year and was trying to check them off and hit them, but I thought 2025 was going to be a very chill year, hence why I set all of the goals that I did. We are kind of in the having babies season of life. We actually will be looking at having a third baby soon, but I knew for 2025 that we were not going to have another pregnancy. We were not going to try to conceive. That for me, in that sense, it was going to be pretty chill. We were walking into the year knowing that we would be raising them up, definitely, but I did not foresee any other major life things happening. We didn't have any large vacations planned for the year. We were not planning to move. All of our careers were very stable and set, and we weren't looking at any job transitions in the year. Plot twist, a lot of that happened, and actually in April, I found myself we found ourselves job searching and house hunting at the exact same time. All of life kind of was up in the air. All of these little teeny tiny goals of mine, not teeny tiny, but you know what I mean, like nitty gritty goals that are kind of time consuming. They take a lot of focus. They were pushed to the wayside while life circumstances took over, which is totally natural. That happens. And I was really not beating myself up for that, but just thinking, you know, I set all of these goals not knowing that there would be these life circumstances that would take all of my focus and all my attention for like months out of the year. How do I know that that's going to happen in a future year? Do I just temper my goals? Do I set less? Do I reach less highly? What do I do? Because as someone who is very into like self-help material, have read tons and tons of books on the subject of like goal setting, I knew that I was communicating a message to myself that I did not want to be communicating with my goals, which is that I am a person who does not do what I say I'm going to do. That's kind of what happens when you accomplish goals or when you set goals and you don't accomplish them. And so just as a little recap, here's the goals that I did set for 2025 and then the ones I ended up accomplishing. So first in the career category, here is what I set and here's what I accomplished. And then in the creative category, here's what I set and here's what I accomplished. And then in the financial category, here are the goals that I set. And here are the goals that I accomplished. Then in the personal category, here are the goals that I set. And here are the goals that I accomplished. And then finally in the health category, here are the goals that I set. And here are the ones that I accomplished. So it's not like I didn't accomplish any goals in 2025. I for sure checked off a lot of the boxes that I wanted to check, but it was a 50-50 success rate. And so that to me is just communicating that I may or may not accomplish a goal that I write down for myself. And I did not love that message that I was sending myself, that I was not reliable, that I may or may not hit a goal that I set, that my intentions are kind of wishy-washy, that it's as good as a coin flip whether or not I accomplish a goal that I set. And so this in tandem with the word of the year that I really prayed over and accepted for 2026 made me realize that I'm going to do things way differently for 2026. So what inspired the word of 2026 was actually losing this vlog camera that I'm recording on right now. I was trying to find it everywhere. I totally lost it after I came back from my trip, my Christmas trip to the Midwest. I went there for a work trip in December last month and I came back. I knew for sure that I had it once I came back, which was good. I'm glad that I knew that because otherwise I probably wouldn't have looked as hard as I did. And we tore apart the entire house looking for this vlog camera. Eventually we did end up finding it. It was in this office and it got thrown away with some Christmas wrapping paper situation, like box material, box stuffing material. It got thrown away. It was probably one of my kids who popped it into that trash bag. And so we dug through the trash outside, found it. And by we, I mean my husband. Thank you so much, Paul, for finding that for me. And it was a huge, huge relief to find this camera because for me, if you've been here for a while, you know that I bought this vlog camera with the earnings of my first year paid through YouTube. And so it's not like I'm making an incredible amount of money doing this. It's more of a creative outlet and pursuit for myself. But that was a huge accomplishment and goal achieved. And so just losing the camera made me feel like it was almost like steps backwards. It just didn't feel good. And so finding the camera just made me realize how much I value it. And it made me realize how much I need to slow down. So the word of 2026 for myself is slow. And when I first heard it and thought of it, it just was planted in my heart during that search. I thought slow is almost like a negative sounding word. When we describe someone as slow or we describe something as slow, like that movie was pretty slow, we're usually not complimenting it, we're actually criticizing it because our society has learned to glorify the hustle, we've learned to glorify speed and efficiency. We don't necessarily glorify doing things slowly. In terms of actually doing things slowly, what does that mean and what does that look like? Because when I think of slow, I think of movement. When you're talking about slow, you're actually in motion. You're not idling when you're slow. You're not paused when you're slow. You're constantly moving towards the direction of something, whether it's a goal or a vision that you have for the future. You are moving towards a target. And how often are we stretched so many different directions? I'm kind of preaching from my own personal experience as a work from home mom, being stretched in multiple directions, where we're being stretched in so many directions that we're not moving towards anything. And that is how 2025 felt for me, is that I was stretched in so many directions that I wasn't moving towards anything. And there was a colleague of mine who actually posted something, I think it was on her own socials, about the most satisfying periods of life are actually when we're imbalanced. And we talk about this all the time, where it's like we want a balanced life. We want a life that's balanced in health. We want a life that's balanced in financial prosperity. We want a life that's balanced in career success. We want a life that's balanced in personal life satisfaction. And during the new year, we often look at all of the categories of our life and we think, how can I improve in all of these categories of my life? Hence last year when I set the goals in, career categories, health categories, financial categories, I think that is so common to do in the new year as goal-oriented people, because it's just natural to kind of take a broad bird's eye view at our entire life and think, how can I improve it? But the most satisfying seasons of our life are actually when we're imbalanced, when we're focusing on one thing and we're putting the rest to the side. Think, for example, a season of postpartum, having a newborn. You're not looking at a myriad of goals when you have a newborn. You are focusing on that newborn, on keeping that little baby alive. And how many people say that the happiest day of their life is when their baby is born, or the most joyful season of their life is when they had really small babies. Even though it was hard, it was rewarding. Things like that. Or when I look at my own life, I think of, oh yeah, when I was studying abroad in Paris, I was not accomplishing pretty much any goals. I was literally just living life and experiencing it. And I was very imbalanced in that sense. I wasn't looking at the breadth of all of my goals and trying to accomplish things. I was just there to live life and experience it and enjoy it. And I think that that is when we can actually tap into something really special, because we are finite humans who can only do one thing at one time. And so the lead in for that is that for 2026, I am only going to set one goal at a time. Now, as a goal-oriented person, it really is like, do I really actually want to only set one goal at a time? But really looking at the success of those seasons of life when I actually focused on one thing. For example, in order to finish my book in 2025, in order to finish writing it, I did not create any YouTube videos for all of July because I was trying to do it before my 30th birthday. That was my goal. And I accomplished it. I was able to do it. But that meant, because of the word count I needed to hit and where I was at that time, that meant that I needed to spend almost every free opportunity that I had writing. I could not edit videos. I could not make sourdough bread. I could not get into the gym for 3 hours in the afternoons. Like, I could not do all those things. I had to focus on writing the book, and I accomplished that goal, which was incredible. And so I just think, look, I need to focus on one goal at a time. I need to slow down in order to speed up, and I am so excited to do it. And so I'm going to actually invite you in to that journey with me with my first goal of 2026. Now, I do want to say, before I say what it is that this is a very personal goal for myself. And I do not think that everyone necessarily needs to set the same goals as each other. And I think that also this style of goal can be very harmful for many people. And so I wanted to kind of put that out there as disclaimers, because it is a weight loss goal. And I know that that can be very, very triggering for a lot of people. I was kind of honestly debating whether or not I even wanted to share it, because it is a very personal goal for myself in order to increase both my own health and confidence going into 2026, looking at conceiving baby number 3. I really wanted to hit this goal for myself. I did not end up hitting it in 2025, and I decided to take all focus and pointed at this one for the beginning of 2026. And so for me, that is losing 26 pounds in 2026. Now, 26 pounds sounds like a lot. It for sure does. I think really looking at myself, my history, the weight gain that I gained through 2 pregnancies, 26 pounds is the perfect number for me. So again, I don't want this number to be triggering or harmful for anyone. So if you see any videos coming up in the future that might have, any kind of weight loss verbiage on it, please feel free to skip that if that is harmful or triggering for you when talking and looking at weight loss specifically. But for me, it is a really important goal for me to hit for myself to really increase confidence and health. It has to do with a holistic view of myself, and I am going to actually do a no sugar, low carb diet in order to get there. And so I invite you into this journey with me. I am sure I will be referencing this goal in future videos. That is it. That is how we're doing our goals differently this year, one at a time, slowing down in order to speed up, really savoring life. And it really has to do as well with walking towards the vision of the person that I know that God has created me to be. And so I actually started this year by writing down a vision of who I would like to be in my marriage, a vision of who I would like to be as a mom, a vision of what it looks like to prosper in my career. And what does she do? What does she feel? What are the kind of words she says? And I really painted vivid pictures for myself so that I can walk towards that vision of where I believe I am meant to go in 2026. And so I think that just setting a single goal at a time and having this set vision in place for a future will keep kind of all of the goals circling back to that set vision, no matter what I end up putting in that temporary number one spot. So that is how I'm doing things a little bit differently in the coming year. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please remember to give it a little thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel for content that might be similar to this in the future. I cannot wait to catch you on the next video. Bye, friends.